Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and my messenger just went off. What do we have here? What do we have here? Okay, I'm sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. I did not anticipate this this thing going off just as I was recording this video. I'm going to leave it in. I got a new student coming into my classroom, so yeah, awesome. Anyway, if there's one thing you should know about your boy GCurse, it is that I am a very nostalgic type of person. I am very nostalgic. And honestly, I'm a little bit more nostalgic for the 1980s. That's right. The 1980s is what I really like. Uh and let's take a little trip to the year 1985. Now, if you ask me, depending on the time of the year in 1985, I was either 3 or 4 years old. So, yeah, I was pretty young. So, because of that, I don't really remember that much of the 80s. I really did not start remembering the 80s until like 88, 89 when I was starting elementary school. So, yeah, I just don't really remember that much. But just because I do not remember it doesn't mean I want to go back and relive it. I am a major fan of the 1980s. Hell, I wanted to show you guys this. I bought this a while ago. Sadly, I haven't been able to watch it yet. I know the image is backwards. This is the complete series of the A Team, which is one of the best 1980s TV series of all time. What I should do, ladies and gentlemen, what I should do is I really should, like, on like a cold winter evening, as I lay down to go to bed, I put one of these discs into the DVD player, and I watch it, and I slowly drift off to sleep. That's what I really should do, because I spend good money on this, and I just have not had a chance to watch it yet. But anyway, enough about that. I have a react video for all of you guys and gals today. Today we are going to go back to 1985. I came across a YouTube channel a few months ago during the summer, and this channel is like, wow, this channel kind of gave me what I want. It gave me a little bit of that, gave me a little bit of that fix. It gave me a little bit of that fix, and I'm actually pretty happy I came across this channel, because when I was diagnosed with having colitis in August, and I was kind of, down for a few weeks, I was watching a lot of these videos on this channel, and the channel oh God, what is it called? It is called Timeline, or no, Weird History. I think it's called Weird History. I don't have the name up right now, but anyway, what I am going to be doing a react to is Timeline Movies 1985. That's right. You and me are going to go back to the year 1985. And like I said, for me, depending on time of the year, I was either 3 or 4, so I cannot wait to see what we have here. I'm excited. I'm very excited because I love 80s movies. One of the movie franchises I really love is Friday the 13th. Oh my God. My mom, she would not let me see Friday the 13th until I was like a teenager. I wanted to watch Friday the 13th when I was younger. They used to have like Friday the 13th marathons on TNT like in the early 90s. And when my mom found out about it, it's like, nope, you are not watching that. But anyway, let's get on with the react. I am very, very excited. Okay, so I got my headphones on. Let's do this. 3, 2, 1.
Now, traditionally, summertime and the Christmas season are the biggest money makers at the box office. But this past summer was a big disappointment in box office revenues. But local theater owners are hoping that movies like Rocky IV will give them a much-needed boost.
I can't help but go back and think about, like, they were talking about how the movie theaters were kind of suffering in 1985, as you just heard. If they thought it was bad back then, can you imagine what they'd be doing right now if they heard how bad the film industry is in right now in 2025? Ooh. Eesh.
Financially speaking, 1985 wasn't actually all that great a year for cinema. Despite breaking a record for new releases, ticket sales were down nearly 20.
You know, I think it is now. It's just me. I'm not like a, what you call like a professional when it comes to like movies or anything. I'm just a fan. I'm a fan of good movies. I like good movies. I like movies that are so bad they're good. You know, I like the whole wide spectrum of movies. However, what I think it is I think that these producers, these production companies, and all that, I think that they just attach like astronomical expectations to these actors and everything. They think that these movies need to like rake in so much money, and ultimately when it fails it kind of hurts their egos basically. The one case and example that I like to talk about is the very first Friday the 13th movie. Basically, they made that movie on $500,000, and I think it made like over $30 million. You know, I think if Hollywood is to basically kind of survive, they're gonna kind of have to really kind of shrink what it is that they've done. They got to get rid of this whole idea of like these mega blockbusters where they're going to be raking in hundreds of $1 million. That time of the industry, it's gone. It's gone. They really need to start really just lowering their expectations, basically.
50% compared to the previous year. And lost in the shuffle were future cult classics like Real Genius.
I actually have that movie, but sadly I never really watched it. I actually got that movie as it was part of it was like a 2 disc set. It was like 2 different movies in one set. It was from Walmart. It was Real Geniuses and Airplane.
Return to Oz and The Black Cauldron. Box office issues aside, however, the year now stands as a virtual treasure trove of 80s nostalgia.
Who are you?
I love claymation. Look at this. Look at this. I really feel that claymation, once CGI came and ruined cinema, if you ask me, stop motion claymation like this, oh my god. They were a massive casualty of the CGI boom.
An angel.
What's your name?
Satan.
We're going to take you through all of the best movie and Hollywood-related news and events of 1985, because this is Timeline Movies.
Let's go back to 1985. Yes, I admit I sounded so hokey when I said that.
And since 1985 was when Cocoon was released,
I've never seen Cocoon, honestly. I've never seen Cocoon. That's another reason why I like to watch these type of videos, because it gives me an idea of what it is I can like buy, and like what movies I would like to buy and watch. I've never seen Cocoon. I don't even recall if my mom ever saw Cocoon before she passed away, but I've heard of the name. But I've never seen it before.
try to keep this from getting old. But before we get started, be sure to subscribe to the Weird History channel.
Oh, Weird History, that's the name of this channel. I will put a link to that channel in the description below. So if you are curious and you would like to relive that nostalgic bone that you have, you want to get that stuff injected into you. You know, I want to shout out their name, you know.
And let us know in the comments below about your favorite movie memories from 1985. Now, are you ready to find out what was going on in movies the year every rock star on Earth teamed up to do Live Aid?
That's a good idea.
Thanks to Star Wars and Indiana Jones, by 1985, Harrison Ford was one of the world's biggest stars. But he had yet to prove he could carry a movie that wasn't made by Lucas or Spielberg. That would all change on February 8th with the release of the crime thriller Witness, which featured Ford as a police detective who has to hide out on an Amish farm.
Now, I understand, I know that Harrison Ford, you know, he has done a lot of movies. But for me, I only really know him from the I think it's called In Line of Danger. It's where he played the president. I can't recall the name of the movie, but he played the president. He's like, "Get off my plane," and he hits the guy. You know, there's that movie. There is, I think it's called What Lies Beneath, possibly, and then there was the Star Wars movies. I know he's done a lot of other things, but those are like the main three that I can remember him from.
You have no right to keep us here.
Yes, I do. Your son's a material witness to homicide.
Been offered a cop story or two, and to this point I've never taken one. Mostly because they're centered around violence and action. This was one where the alien Amish culture.
I'm not sure what it is. But when I watch these retro videos like what we're watching, there's something about the audio that I really like. It isn't crisp like it is nowadays that you have with HD television and all that stuff. I love that old analog sound that like you would hear the news or like with Harrison Ford talking, you know. I love that analog sound that it was just something unique to a bygone era.
Had an effect on the character and affect the way he behaved.
A hit with critics and audiences, Witness proved Ford could get the job done, even without a whip and fedora.
I have exactly.
What did you say? Eat my shorts. Fine, that's another week. Good. That's another week. Fine. You want another week? Well, there it is. This is like one of the first teenage drama movies that I bought on DVD a long time ago. I remember that at least once a year, maybe twice a year, on is either TBS or TNT, they used to play this movie. Like, oh my god, I love The Breakfast Club. Granted, I was only 3 or 4 years old, but now that I'm almost in my mid 40s, I really can appreciate this movie. I love this movie.
8 hours and 54 minutes to ponder the error of your ways.
A brain, a beauty, a jock, a rebel, and a recluse.
On February 15th, the world met The Breakfast Club.
I got you for the rest of your natural-born life if you don't watch your step. You want another one?
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Get it out!
The John Hughes-directed coming-of-age film starred a group of high school students from different cliques, all thrown together at
Yeah, I would be in the fat people clique.
Saturday morning detention.
I don't think that any one of us really knows what the other four are doing with their character. We've been doing the whole thing in sequence, so things are gradually.
If I remember correctly, I think I may be wrong because I did some like trivia research about the Breakfast Club. I may be wrong, but I think they tear down that school. That used to be a legitimate school, but I think they tore it down, you know, like in the 90s or something. I may be wrong. I may be thinking of a whole different location from another movie, but I could have sworn that they may have torn down that school.
Revealed, and then we don't have to go backwards and hide them again. I mean, once they're out, they're out.
The film was embraced by critics and audiences alike, and its success helped cement the Brat Pack as a box office force to be reckoned with. And on February 20th, director Terry Gilliam released his dystopian black comedy, Brazil.
What is Brazil?
I never even heard of that movie at all.
Of corporate bureaucracy and technocratic surveillance states, the film follows Jonathan Pryce's Sam Lowry as he tries to locate a woman he saw in a dream.
The film originally began...
Man, how many people would have wanted to find a woman that they saw in their dream?
This image of this guy sitting on this beach looking at the sunset with a radio and picking up strange music like Brazil's and Latin American romantic stuff. That's what the film is still about. It's about somebody trying to escape from it or thinking there's an escape.
Despite mostly positive reviews and a warm reception in Europe, however, it tanked at the U.S. box office. Nonetheless, it has since come to be considered an influential cult classic. Australian business magnate Rupert Murdoch shocked Hollywood on March 20th by agreeing to acquire 50% of 20th Century Fox from oil.
Can you imagine what Rupert Murdoch, I'm not even sure if he's still alive, but look at what happened to 20th Century Fox. It's gone. It is now part of Disney. I'll make you a bet that when he originally bought that 50% of 20th Century Fox, he thought that was going to be like into the future. Like that would be like the biggest thing forever. Now look at where 20th Century Fox is.
News Corporation would pay $250 million.
250, that's like chump change now when you hear some of these mergers. Oh God, some company bought EA, if I remember correctly, for like $50 billion. And here we go back in 1985, like 250 million.
For the acquisition, which Murdoch at the time called a significant investment. Murdoch would retain ownership of 20th Century Fox for 32 years. On December 14th, 2017, he would once again shock Hollywood by announcing he was selling the studio and its considerable library of films and properties, which included franchises like X-Men and Avatar, to Disney.
Biggest mistake ever. Biggest mistake ever. Look at the current state that Disney is in. They can't produce a freaking hit if the script literally fell in their hands. They cannot do it. Literally flop after flop after flop after flop after flop. And like I said, this goes back to the fact that Hollywood has really got themselves to the point that they have no choice but to like really hot, make these huge expensive movies that don't produce income at all. They're always crashing. That's why they need to shrink down everything, which is going to be harder than hell, because a lot of these actors, they think that they are worthy of having 6 and 7 figure salaries when it comes to making these movies. They're not worth that much money.
A year ago, I didn't see this one coming either, nor did I see it coming 6 months ago.
The sale included some Fox television channels and even a 30% stake in...
Oh, by the way, Hulu was, depending on when you're watching this, Hulu is either on the way out or is totally gone because they're getting rid of Hulu, which is fucking sad because Hulu was like one of the two first major streaming services right next to Netflix.
Hulu, but of course old Rupert held on to some of the company's assets, including Fox News. March 25th brought the 57th Academy Awards, hosted by actor Jack Lemmon.
Hey, you see these? They're the hottest tickets in this town. It's for the Academy Awards, and people will do...
My hot take. Here is a hot take, ladies and gentlemen. I really don't give a flying fuck about Hollywood. To me, these award ceremonies, they are nothing but glorified circle jerks. That's what they are, ladies and gentlemen. That's all it is. They are literally just a circle jerk. My reward to Hollywood is me paying to watch a movie in a theater, or buy a DVD, or buy digital content. My money is their reward. To me, these awards that they give each other every year, it's a fucking circle jerk. That's all it is. That's all it is. And I have not watched one of these things since like the early to mid 90s, because it's literally just an ego fest. My money is your reward. A fucking chocolate covered golden statue doesn't mean shit to me. You like me. You really like me.
Right now, you like me.
The big winner was
Amadeus,
which took home Best Actor for F. Murray Abraham, Best Director for Milos Forman, and Best Picture.
9 years ago, Audrey Hepburn gave us Oscars for Cuckoo's Nest, and tonight, Sir Laurence Olivier for Amadeus. What a wonderful and rewarding profession for a movie fan.
The Entertainment, one of the famous topper series of sophisticated...
Oh God, when I personally feel that some movies should not be put in color, especially when it comes to like older movies, like black and white movies. Black and white movies, in my opinion, had a certain charm about them. When you take a black and white movie and you force color on it, it just ruins kind of like that uniqueness and that spirit. I actually have It's a DVD. It's of the original, I think it was like 1969 or whatever it was, the original Night of the Living Dead. That DVD is one of those weird DVDs where it's like a movie on each side of the disc. One side of that disc is the black and white copy of A Night of the Living Dead. The other side, it was color. And oh my God. For the technology and everything, it looks serviceable, but you could just tell it did not need, color was not originally part of this movie. It was a black and white movie. And it looks so fucking out of place when it has color.
Sophisticated comedies out of the Hal Roach Studios. Colorization brings these comedies to life for today's color-oriented audiences.
The 1937 comedy Topper starred Cary Grant and told the story of a stuffy guy being haunted by the ghosts of a fun-loving...
What's wrong with adding color to this? Like I said, look at this. It looks good in black and white. Not everything needs to be made modern, you know? Like, that's why things are in the past, and then there's things in the present, you know? Like,
married couple.
Say, if I'm in the way, you folks can leave.
Oh, not at all.
Mighty nice of you to let me stay around.
Hey, what's biting you? You're not getting jealous, are you?
No, just getting careful.
It was a hit when it was originally released, and since it was 1937, it was in black and white. But on May 15th, 1985, Topper became the first movie to be...
This is a good example of what I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen. Granted, it looks serviceable, but honestly, what looks better, black or white, or this this color right here? It just looks weird to me. I'm not sure what it is. It looks weird.
Digitally colorized.
Colorization, the newest technology in entertainment at work right now. The simplest description, black and white motion picture and television film is converted to the finest quality color videotape by these men and women working with modern computer technology.
The project was treated as a triumph by producers, but the public wasn't as high on the idea of colorizing old films, and the process was largely dismissed as an annoying novelty. A View to a Kill was the 14th James Bond movie, and it dropped on May 22nd. The film found Roger Moore's 007 squaring off with industrialist Max Zorin, played by Christopher Walken, as he tried to destroy Silicon Valley.
Well, trust me, Silicon Valley has really kind of fucked themselves up, if you know what I mean. You know, like, I'm not even gonna hide it. They are
So, does anybody else want to drop out?
It was a commercial success, despite harsh reviews, including one by Moore himself, who described himself as horrified by its violence.
This is the one thing that really just pisses me off when it comes to actors in Hollywood. They will play a role. They have the script. They know what fucking happens in these scripts. They do the movie. They take the money. And they're like, I'm horrified by how violent this movie is. I can't believe how violent this movie is. Motherfucker, you made the movie. You made the movie. You read the script. You knew what was going to happen. Don't fucking get on your goddamn high horse and act sanctimonious like, I can't believe how fucking violent this movie was. I can't believe how violent my character was. Are you going to give your money back? If you were not that happy with the product, are you going to refund your money back to the production company? No? Then shut the fuck up. I can't believe that this movie is that violent. I can't believe it at all. I'm offended by how violent this movie is. And while they're saying that, they're counting their money. It's like me eating a box of ding-dongs. And then me getting upset. Like, I can't believe how fat I'm getting. I can't believe how fat I'm getting. I can't believe how fat I'm getting. No, it doesn't fucking work like that. It just doesn't.
Adding, that wasn't Bond. That may be why on December 3rd, Moore turned in his license to kill and retired from the role.
If you weren't an actor, what would you want to do?
I would love to be able to sing.
I really would be wonderful.
Great in the
But I
shower.
didn't think I would be very good as Bond.
No, trust me, you don't want him to sing because then he'd find something to be a hypocrite about that. I can't believe it. People are booing me because I can't sing. No. Actors are some of the biggest fucking hypocrites I've ever seen.
Mario Lanza.
If you're wondering who would win in a fight between James Bond and
Rambo!
the answer is Rambo.
Little known fact, Rambo 2 is actually what kind of coined the whole phrase going Rambo. And it's because of the fact Rambo in that movie, he just always went fucking apeshit crazy with his gun. Look at this. Look at this. This is classic Americana, ladies and gentlemen. And I fucking love it.
You can tell that because Rambo First Blood Part 2 opened the same day as A View to a Kill, and it was the former that won the weekend. With a screenplay co-written by James Cameron, the sequel to 1982's First Blood found Rambo going back to Vietnam to rescue American POWs.
Survive a war, you gotta become war.
Because you like to fight?
I'm expendable.
A monster hit, it would finish as the year's second highest grossing picture and turn its hero into a staple of pop culture for decades to come.
I hope to establish a character that can represent a certain section of the American consciousness. And
Little known fact, I actually liked the last two Rambo movies came out, like Rambo 2008, I think it was, and then Rambo Last Blood. Oh my god, Rambo Last Blood, I fucking loved it. A lot of people fucking panned that movie, but I loved it. I can appreciate Sylvester Stallone for taking a risk like that. He took a risk like that, and I like it.
through the entertainment, also be educational.
What is this man's name?
My name is Igor Stravinsky.
Hi there, I'm Harry S. Truman.
I'm Don Corleone.
My mother, she actually liked this movie. I can't really, I don't understand why. Chevy Chase, he, especially nowadays, the guy's seen as an egomaniac, you know. But even back then, I just,
In the morning or bent over like this, I'd probably feel 100% better. Moon River. Whew. Thank you, Doc. You ever serve time?
While also delivering what is arguably the best performance of his career. Although it finished second to Rambo in its opening weekend, it was a box office hit, spawning the 1989 sequel, Fletch Lives, and the 2022 reboot, Confess, Fletch, which featured John Hamm in the title role. The Richard Donner-directed Steven Spielberg.
one of my coworkers, he loves this movie. I've actually never seen The Goonies. Maybe I should. It's just one of those movies. It's just like, for me, I don't get it. I don't get it. But it doesn't mean I'm not open to trying to understand it. I just gotta buy the movie. But my coworker, he loves this movie. He has like big posters in the classroom of The Goonies.
Produced comedy adventure The Goonies opened on June 7th.
Besides, we gotta get to the police. Maybe Chunk already got to the police. Maybe Chunk is dead. Goonies never say die.
The movie, which starred Sean Astin, Josh Brolin, Corey Feldman, Ke Huy Quan, Martha Plimpton, Cary Green, and Jeff Cohen, found a group of teenagers looking for pirate treasure in an attempt to save their homes from being demolished.
I never let the kids see this boat. They were banned from the stage. They were supposed to come out of the chute, hit the water, and turn around and see the boat for the first time. They all knew what they were going to see, but they had no idea what it was going to look like.
Now considered an essential 80s classic, it opened to positive reviews, but like Fletch and Bond, failed to dethrone Rambo from the *1 spot at the box office.
That tells you like what kind of staying power Stallone had back in the mid-80s. Stallone was like really operating on all cylinders at the time.
When this baby hits 88
You're gonna see some serious shit. Isn't that what he said? Oh wait,
miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious
Yeah!
Back to the Future
Yeah!
starred Michael J. Fox as Marty McFly, a California teen sent back in time by his mad scientist buddy, Emmett Doc Brown, played by Christopher Lloyd.
9.21 gigawatts or 8.21 gigawatt, whatever.
1985.
Directed by Robert Zemeckis and produced by Steven Spielberg, the movie became a cultural phenomenon, made icons out of its cast, and even made the largely forgotten DeLorean automobile seem cool again. Perhaps more impressively, it would trounce Rambo at the box office.
You know that new sound you looking
Get
for?
ready to hear
Well,
this!
listen to this!
Finishing as 1985's highest-grossing film, while spawning 2 hit sequels, an animated cartoon, and a musical stage adaptation.
He'll do.
On July 10th, audience...
Oh my god. Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. Holy shit. If the Mad Max series stayed as a trilogy, Mad Max, or The Road Warrior, Mad Max, and Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, it would have been perfect. But like always, Hollywood has to try to bloat and just ruin a good thing. And that's what they kind of did with the Mad Max series. They're trying to make it into a fucking universe, and it doesn't need that. It doesn't need to be a universe. It was perfect the way it was.
Audiences got to see Mel Gibson's final outing as Mad Max Rockatansky in Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. The threequel found Max forced to fight in the titular arena at the behest of Tina Turner's evil anti-entity.
2 men enter!
One man exit.
We had a deal.
And the deal says, or you break the deal or something. I can't recall it, but it's like, break the deal, spin the wheel.
And the law says, bust the deal, face the wheel.
Oh,
Due,
bust the
however,
deal,
to his grief
spin
over
the
death of
wheel.
Series producer Byron Kennedy, director George Miller partnered with director George Ogilvy to complete the film, which ultimately divided critics and audiences. It was less successful than the previous 2 Max films, but the concept of the Thunderdome has since become a staple of pop culture.
But she's beyond Thunderdome. Welcome to the Thunderdome.
July 12th saw the release of the sci-fi adventure Explorers. According to director Joe Dante, the film, which
I've never seen this movie, so I'm actually kind of curious. I like the early to mid 80s, attempt at CGI and everything.
finished state. Predictably, it was a box office flop.
It's the aliens that let us down.
Okay, now here is something I'm probably going to get a lot of flack for, which is cool. It's cool with me. I hate these film critics. Siskel and Ebert, any sort of fucking film critic, I fucking hate. I just do. They act like they are the be-all, end-all when it comes to movies. Like, you should hear what they say, and you should base your opinion around what they say. And you don't have to. You're a human being. And like, I really got turned off with these people when it came to the Friday 13th, because if you don't know, basically Siskel and Ebert, they basically went out to really ruin the ending of that movie because they did not like the movie. Well, too bad, motherfucker. I do. And you don't control what I get to like. And that's what really just kind of upset me, is because there are a lot of, especially older people or film snobs or whatever, that will hear what film critics say and they're like, oh yeah, it's all right, the movie is garbage. Why don't you fucking watch the movie yourself and make your own opinion? That's why it is, like, for me, it's like, people can say that either a movie's good or a movie's bad. I watch the movie and I make that decision myself.
In this movie, because when we finally see them, they look like dumb little animated creatures. They're not much better than Mickey Mouse here.
But has since come to be.
Can't you just watch the movie to enjoy it? Why do you have to literally tear down everything you watch?
Regarded as a cult classic, largely because the 2 teenage boys at the heart of the story were played by Ethan Hawke and River Phoenix, both in their film debuts.
So Explorers has a terrific beginning and a really dumb ending. I can only give this movie 2 stars.
Dr. Rock Hudson dead, his year-long battle with AIDS at an end. He was 59.
On July 25th, actor Rock Hudson released a statement to the press announcing that he had AIDS. The announcement made Hudson, a popular leading man of the 1950s and 60s with over 60 film credits to his name, the first major celebrity to admit having contracted the condition. His death on October 7th, 1985, is now widely credited with bringing the epidemic to the forefront of world news. And on August 9th, America began an epic journey to the basement of the
Just keep the guy out of adult theaters. That's all I gotta say.
Mr. T! Beautiful jacket. Who shot the couch?
The fat boys are back. I don't see enough bow ties around here. I think anybody not wearing one should be thrown out of here right now.
The movie found its title character, played by Paul Rubens, hitting the road in search of his stolen bicycle and encountering a bizarre cast of characters and situations along the way.
And when they finally pulled the driver's body, it looked like this.
The directorial debut of Tim Burton, it was a hit with critics and audiences, making an icon out of Pee-wee and spawning 2 sequels, as well as the hit television show.
I actually remember the TV show. I don't really recall that much of the movies, but I remember the TV show because the TV show had all these weird little characters, like the chair was alive, and they had like the word of the week or word of the day or whatever the fuck it was called.
Pee-wee's Playhouse.
You are practically the first person I ever worked with in Hollywood. You kind of, I owe this whole film to you, really.
Well, really, what's happening is I'm starting to talk like you now.
This is your father speaking. Now, open this door right this minute. You asked for it. An explanation is probably long overdue.
The producers of the supernatural coming-of-age comedy Teen Wolf held its release until August 23rd in an attempt to ride the coattails of Back to the Future, which also starred Michael J. Fox.
Listen, no ID, no goddamn beer. Can't you get that through your thick skull? Give me.
Now, I may be wrong. It's been a while since I saw Teen Wolf, but the whole scene here at the liquor store when Michael J. Fox, like the wolf, is starting to come out, wasn't the voice a lot more deep? Wasn't it like something like, I want a keg of beer or something along that line? This sounds like this was just like kind of like substituted for what Michael J. Fox actually said.
A keg of beer.
And that plan worked like a charm. The story of a high school basketball player who discovers he's a werewolf became a box office smash, debuting at number 2 in its opening weekend, right behind, you guessed it, Back to the Future. That success led to a sequel, an animated cartoon, and a live-action television reboot that lasted for 6 seasons. Orson Welles is considered one of the most influential filmmakers in history and was the director of Citizen Kane, widely considered the single greatest movie ever made. Sadly, on the morning of October 10th, Welles died of a heart attack at his Los Angeles home. According to longtime friend and collaborator Joseph Cotten, Welles wanted to be buried in Spain. His body, however, was ultimately cremated, and in 1987, his ashes were buried in a well at the home of his old friend.
Okay, so let's get this straight. The poor guy, he wanted to be buried in Spain. Instead, the guy gets cremated, and not only was he cremated, he was then put on the property of a friend. Who the fuck did this guy piss off for this journey to happen?
Bullfighter Antonio Ordonez. Blockbuster Video is the best known.
I actually had a Blockbuster members card. I actually did. Hold on, let me see if I can actually find it. I'll be right back. Well, sadly, I looked where I thought I had the card, and I do not have it, so. But yeah. Oh, God. Blockbuster was... God, they really had a chance to cement their legacy, because if you remember back, what was like early 2000s, the owners of Netflix actually went to Blockbuster to see if they could get Blockbuster to buy their company. And basically, to sum it up, Blockbuster thought that it was too gimmicky, that it would not last. Look where Blockbuster is, and look where Netflix is. Oh, God. Talk about a stumble of epic proportions. This is like the biggest stumble I know of. However, nipping on the heels of this blunder is how Microsoft is currently handling the Xbox game system. Holy shit. It seems like every generation there is a major screw up when it comes to businesses. back in the early 2000s and everything, nobody thought like online shopping was going to be the thing. All of these big companies, Kmart, let's see, what else is there? Target originally, Walmart originally. All these companies thought that online shopping was it was too much of a gimmick, that everybody would always want to go into the stores. And honestly, I do, but not everybody does. And a lot of these stores, Sears, JCPenney's, Rite Aid. Oh God, what was what I just said? Blockbuster. A lot of these stores, you either evolve with the times, or you basically, you get cast aside, basically.
Video rental chain of all time, and it got its start when the first location opened in Dallas, Texas on October 19th.
Nobody has the movie I want.
Hey, if it's on video, Blockbuster probably has it. I mean, we have over 10,000 videos.
Wow.
The first Blockbuster stocked 8,000 VHS tapes and 2,000 Betamax tapes, which is pretty incredible considering Netflix only offers subscribers access to roughly 3,600 movies and 1,800 television shows. Blockbuster became a cultural phenomenon of the 80s and 90s. But thanks to the rise of streaming, it eventually went defunct, closing its last corporate-owned store in 2014.
Just think of it this way. If they bought Netflix, they could have kept on going for a few more decades, possibly.
Most people think that Jim Carrey started his career on the TV sketch show In Living Color. But in reality, Carrey was a movie star first. In fact,
I'll be honest. I understand people like Jim Carrey. I just don't understand what the whole thing about him is. The only movie that I watched of his that I really thought was that great was Liar Liar. That's basically about it. But everything else, to me, he's just a comedian. Nothing more different than anybody else.
it would be another 9 years before Carrey was given the chance to headline another movie. And this time, he would make it count. Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, was released February 4th, 1994. And like Carrey's earlier starring vehicle, it would be met by harsh reviews. But thanks to Carrey's over-the-top wackiness and quotable catchphrases,
alrighty then,
the film blew up at the box office, spawning a sequel, a Saturday morning cartoon, and a made-for-TV sequel about Ace Jr. In 1985, the
East versus West! Good versus evil. Let's get it on. We're going to get it on because we don't get along.
Cold War was still going strong.
I must break.
There was only one way to settle it, in the boxing ring. At least, that was the implication of Rocky IV, released November 27th. The film found Rocky Balboa avenging the death of Apollo Creed by agreeing to fight the
Apollo Creed didn't just get beat. He didn't just get beat. The poor guy got obliterated. Let's just be honest. Apollo Creed, he got obliterated. The poor guy, he's not in the Union anymore.
Terrifying Soviet boxer Ivan Drago. And it ended with the people of Russia cheering for the titular hero. Its comic book-like sensibilities, however, won over audiences. And the movie finished as 1985.
I actually have the original Rocky series box set. I don't have like the spin-off Creed. I don't have that, any of those movies. But I got the first 5 Rocky movies in a box set.
Third highest grosser, right behind Rambo. So, yeah, very good year for Stallone. Based on the board game of the same name, Clue hit theaters on December 13th. The black comedy had an all-star.
This is a good movie. The only issue I have is you literally have to, now you don't have to do it because if you have the DVD, but if you watch this in theaters back in '85, you had to watch the movie several times to get all the different endings because there were several endings for this movie.
Flames. Flames. On the side of my face. Breathing. Breathless.
Or they may have resented the fact that the movie had 3 different endings. And
See,
to see
I
them
told
all,
you.
You had to pay to see the movie 3 times. Either way, it wouldn't truly find.
And the thing is, how do you know if you're going to get a different ending For all you know, it's like one of those stupid fucking like mystery toys that people like to buy. You know, you get that first one, and then you're thinking that the next one you buy is going to be something different, but you got exactly the same shit you just bought.
Find its audience until its home video release.
I am your singing telegram.
December 4th saw the release of Young Sherlock Holmes, a mystery adventure directed by Barry Levinson and produced by Steven Spielberg. The movie garnered mostly positive reviews, but floundered at the box office. If you did happen to catch it, though, you probably walked out of the theater amazed by a special effect that depicted a knight made of stained glass, leaping out of a stained glass window. Created by Industrial Light and Magic and John Lasseter, that knight is now considered the first photorealistic CGI character to ever appear in a movie.
Pieces of glass, instead of being order of an inch or three, they were an inch thick, so they were heavy. Hopefully it'll be powerful enough and strong enough when the audience sees it that they'll be wowed.
Finally, Jackie Chan's Police Story, which followed a Hong Kong cop who has to clear his name of murder and arrest the drug dealer who framed him, hit theaters on December 14th. The movie, in which Chan performs an eye-popping stunt where he leaps from a...
If I remember correctly, that whole scene where Jackie Chan was going down that wire of lights there, that lighting display, if I remember correctly, I think he may have got burns from doing that stunt. That's the one thing I can give Jackie Chan a lot of credit for. The guy did his own stunts, and sometimes he even got hurt doing them. I don't think he really relied on any stuntmen. If he did, it was very rare, but he got hurt so many times doing his own stunts, and you gotta give the guy credit. It takes a lot of courage to put yourself at risk and do something like this.
Mall Balcony was a hit in Asia and Europe, spawning 4 sequels and a reboot. It is now widely considered one of the best martial arts films of all time. So what do you think? What was your fondest movie memory of 1985? Let us know in the comments below. And while you're at it, check out some of these other...
Okay, so that was it, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you have enjoyed this this video. You know, like I'm going to be definitely doing a lot more of these, but I got up this morning, and I originally, you know, when I get up in the morning, I'm just kind of surfing the net before I head off to work because I'm waking up. You know, I'm trying to wake up. Well, I saw this, and it just, like I said, it really fed that whole nostalgic, you know, love that I have. But yeah, so they've done a lot of different videos. I'm going to cover a lot of them, but I just wanted to start with 1985, you know. But yeah, so I hope you liked this react. I'm actually shocked that I got this react done as soon as I did, because when I started, it was a little bit after 6, and it's already like 7:14. So I'm going to have to kind of do some editing and get everything kind of spliced together. You see what I'm doing with my hands here? Yeah, I'm doing like all this. So I'm probably not going to get this uploaded until like late tonight, which it's going to be pretty hard for me tomorrow because I got to go to work. But anyway, I'm going to put the link to the channel that I got this from, Weird History, in the description below, and you guys can check it out. And I hope you guys like this little trip down memory lane, and I will see you next time. My name is Jeff, aka GCurse, wishing you all a great day. Stay safe, everybody. Peace out.